यूरोपियन स्पेस एजेंसी द्वारा निर्मित प्रोबा-3 उपग्रह। अब प्रोबा-3 को चतुर्थ चरण के ऊपर में सावधानी पूर्वक समायोजित किया जा रहा है।
Clean room at the launch pad, and this is the heat shield closure for the Proba-3 spacecraft.
पूरी तरह सुसज्ज अपने मिशन को पूरा करने के लिए PSLV C-59 यह कुल 44.5 मीटर ऊंचा तथा 320 टन भार वाला होता है। प्रमोशन की उल्टी गिनती जारी है।
DC SHAR-1 and 2 data loggers are in at SHAR-1 and 2 station. Noted.
The spacecraft Proba-3 is developed by European Space Agency (ESA) as first of its kind to perform precise formation flying maneuvers and study the sun's corona close to the solar rim. The launch is contracted through New Space India Limited (NSIL), ISRO's commercial arm.
Launch operation sequence for the launch of PSLV C-59 Proba-3 mission at 16:04 hours IST today, that is the 5th of December 2024.
All stations to note, mission director has given
अभी
authorization
आपने सुना
for the launch
मिशन
of
डायरेक्टर,
PSLV
इस
C-59
मिशन के
Proba-3
मिशन
mission.
जो डायरेक्टर हैं
Based
उन्होंने
on the authorization from mission director,
अनुमोदन दे दिया है
mission
ऑटोमेटिक
director
लॉन्च
hereby
सीक्वेंस शुरू
authorizes
करने का।
to initiate the automatic launch sequence for the launch of PSLV C-59 Proba-3 mission at 16:04 hours IST today, that is 5th December 2024.
Good morning.
Automatic launch sequence initiated for PSLV C-59 Proba-3
The second attempt today. The first attempt was tried yesterday, but following a problem with the spacecraft, the launch had to be postponed 24 hours. We are now sitting in front of reduced ESSEC mission control room, waiting for the satellite to be launched.
Initiated at T-14 minutes 30 seconds. Hereafter, the ground computers
In the last 4 hours, the teams here in ESSEC have been preparing the ground segment, validating the stations, the flight dynamic systems, and the ground command in order to be able to perform all the commanding activities required as soon as the spacecraft will be separated from the launcher vehicle. The teams are now patiently waiting for our colleagues in India to perform all the checks. and get the
प्रोबा-3
spacecraft
युगल उपग्रह का प्रमोशन
ready and the
PSLV
launcher
C-59
vehicle
द्वारा आज
for a smooth
5
launch.
दिसंबर 2024 को सतीश धवन अंतरिक्ष केंद्र श्रीहरिकोटा के प्रथम प्रमोशन मंच से भारतीय मानक समय अनुसार शाम 4:04 पर किया जाएगा। यह मिशन न्यू स्पेस इंडिया लिमिटेड NSIL द्वारा समर्पित वाणिज्यिक मिशन है। इसमें कुल 545 किलोग्राम भार वाले युगल उपग्रह को 600 बाई 60,530 किलोमीटर की दीर्घ वृत्ताकार कक्षा में 59 डिग्री के झुकाव के साथ स्थापित किया जाएगा। प्रोबा-3 मिशन यूरोपीय अंतरिक्ष एजेंसी द्वारा पृथ्वी की कक्षा में नई तकनीकों का प्रदर्शन, मान्यकरण और परिकल्पना को सिद्ध करने के लिए एक श्रृंखला है। प्रोबा-3 युगल उपग्रह भी इसी श्रृंखला में चौथी कड़ी है, जो सूर्य के कोरोना यानी बाहरी वातावरण का अवलोकन प्राप्त करने के लिए 2 उपग्रहों को अंतरिक्ष में सटीक गठन उड़ान का प्रदर्शन करने जा रहा है। अब आपके सामने इस मिशन का कर्टन रेजर वीडियो आ रहा है।
PS4 actuation in progress.
The Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, is poised to make history again as it gears up to launch the European Space Agency's project for onboard autonomy Proba-3 mission in December 2024. This PSLV C-59 mission is the dedicated commercial mission of New Space India Limited, NSIL, the commercial arm of the Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO. The Proba-3 mission consists of 2 satellites, the Occulter and the Coronagraph. With a combined weight of approximately 560 kilograms, these satellites are set to be launched in a stacked configuration using ISRO's workhorse launch vehicle, the PSLV. The PSLV C-59 mission will be undertaken from first launch pad located at Satish Dhawan Space Center, SDSC Shar, Sriharikota. This mission marks the 61st flight of the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle, PSLV, and the 26th mission using the PSLV XL configuration. The Proba-3 mission, dedicated to the exploration of the Sun's corona, seeks to achieve its objectives through the deployment of 2 satellites in a highly elliptical orbit. Proba-3's design will enable continuous views of the Sun's corona, which Earth-based observers only witness briefly during solar eclipses. This precise mission relies on millimeter-level accuracy to cast a shadow between the 2 satellites, effectively blocking direct sunlight and providing clear observation of the Sun's outer atmosphere. This mission demands a high-altitude orbit, enabling the satellites to fly in formation for about 6 hours at peak altitude, where the influence of Earth's gravity diminishes, reducing propellant usage and facilitating optimal positioning control. Additionally, the spacecrafts carry instruments such as spectrometer and radiometer to study radiation near Earth and measure total solar irradiance, which is vital for climate science. This momentous event not only showcases the spirit of international collaboration in space exploration, but also highlights the relentless pursuit of knowledge and innovation.
That was a curtain raiser video brought to you by Capacity Building and Public Outreach Office of ISRO. We are 9 minutes 45 seconds from the launch. As the countdown is progressing unhindered and it's all good for the launch, let me take the viewers through the nominal events
So the launch authorities have marked the launch minus 10 minutes before the launch vehicle will be going. All systems remain green. Spacecraft is green, ground segment is green. The flight director and his team have gone through a very emotive roll call after many years of work. This is a culmination of many hours of engineering tasks, and everyone is very excited now, waiting for the last 10 minutes before the launcher puts our spacecraft.
Having completed their respective action times of 69.5 seconds and 67 seconds, the groundlit and airlift strap-ons are jettisoned from the ongoing vehicle. The first stage takes the PSLV rocket up to an altitude of 58.25 kilometers and is separated at 109.7 seconds into flight. 200 milliseconds later, the second stage, PS2, a liquid stage based on hypergolic propellant combination of UH-25 and N2O4, begins its operation. The duration of PS2 operation is 152.5 seconds. In the meantime, the PSLV would have ascended from 58.4 kilometers altitude to 165 kilometers altitude. As the dense atmosphere will be crossed during PS2 regime, 2 more important flight events take place. That is the initiation of closed loop guidance and separation of payload fairing. PS2 separates at 262.4 seconds into flight. Solid propellant-based third stage, PS3, ignites 1.2 seconds thereafter. During the 120 seconds of its thrusting, the rocket adds 79 kilometers to its altitude and a significant 2.54 kilometers per second in relative velocity. Coasting phase for PSLV C-59 mission is expected to last for about 105 seconds. During this regime, there will be no active thrust development by the stage. The relative velocity reduces by 0.1 kilometers per second or 360 kmph as a result. The rocket can ascend by 96 kilometers. PS3 separates 489.2 seconds into flight and PS4 ignites 10 seconds thereafter. PS4 is a pressure-fed liquid engine which will operate for 516 seconds for this present flight. It shuts down at 1015.5 seconds into flight. PS4 thrust regime adds 655 kilometers to the altitude. 107 seconds after the shutdown of PS4, the injection conditions for Proba-3 spacecraft separation are achieved. Altitude of 1267.9 kilometers and relative velocity of 9.4 kilometers per second. The spacecraft is injected in a stack configuration. The orbit is 600 by 60,530 kilometers, a highly elliptical orbit. After a short preparatory period, the two satellites will be separated and injected into a safe relative tandem orbit. During the commissioning phase of around 4 months, the collision avoidance maneuver, formation flying maneuvers, and testing of scientific observations will be carried out. Thereafter, the first results from Proba-3 will be obtained.
अब हम प्रमोशन से 5 मिनट 48 सेकंड की दूरी पर हैं। यह मिशन PSLV का 61वां प्रमोशन मिशन है और इस मिशन में PSLV के एक्सेल संस्करण का प्रयोग किया जा रहा है। एक्सेल संस्करण में कोर सॉलिड बूस्टर के साथ 12 टन के 6 PS0 सॉलिड बूस्टर्स साथ में संलग्न रहते हैं। इससे पहले हमने PS0 एक्सेल बूस्टर के साथ PSLV एक्सेल का प्रमोशन 2 सितंबर 2023 को भारतीय अंतरिक्ष अनुसंधान संगठन द्वारा स्वर्णिम अध्याय आदित्य L1 के प्रमोशन मिशन के रूप में देखा था और आज हम फिर से तैयार हैं एक और मील का पत्थर पार करने के लिए जिसका नाम है PSLV C59 Proba-3 मिशन।
T-5 minutes।
इस प्रमोशन मिशन का घटनाक्रम कुछ इस प्रकार होगा।
Launcher authorities have marked now the launch minus 5 minutes. They moved into internal power, so everything remains green and go for launch. Back in the control room in ESSEC, the teams are very excited now, getting closer to the point on which the spacecraft will be soon in their hands. The right ascent phase is going to last around 18 minutes before the spacecraft will be separated, and the teams here in ESSEC will be able, through the ground stations, in this case in Yatraga in Australia, will be the first station to get contact from the satellite. It will be ready to start providing telemetry to our teams to start monitoring and performing the first critical activities. So everyone now is very excited around the screens, looking carefully also to the video feed from the Indian Launcher Authority, and very excited waiting for the liftoff, which is going to happen in 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
चरण के दौरान ही लगभग 115 किलोमीटर की ऊंचाई पर यान से ऊष्मा कवच को पृथक कर दिया जाएगा। और द्वितीय चरण के कार्यकाल के समाप्त होने पर उसे भी यान से पृथक कर दिया जाएगा। इसके द्वितीय चरण के पृथक होने के 1 सेकंड के पश्चात ही कर दिया जाएगा। इस समय यान की ऊंचाई लगभग 165 किलोमीटर की होगी और 4.9 किलोमीटर प्रति सेकंड। तृतीय चरण का कार्यकाल 20 सेकंड का होगा और यान की गति इसके अंत तक 7.45 किलोमीटर प्रति सेकंड तक पहुंच जाएगी। तृतीय चरण के कार्यकाल समाप्त होते ही कोस्ट फेज की शुरुआत होगी, जिसमें बिना किसी प्रणोद के पहले से प्राप्त संवेग से यान 116 सेकंड में 100 किलोमीटर की अतिरिक्त ऊंचाई प्राप्त करेगा। फिर तृतीय चरण को यान से पृथक कर दिया जाएगा। तृतीय चरण के पृथकन के 10 सेकंड के पश्चात चतुर्थ चरण का प्रज्वलन प्रारंभ होगा। यह वह अंतिम चरण है PSLV प्रमोशन यान का, जो उपग्रह को 9.4 किलोमीटर प्रति सेकंड का वेग तथा निर्धारित कक्षा में अंतक्षेपित करेगा। पूरे प्रमोशन का कार्यकाल लगभग 1122 सेकंड का है। उल्टी गिनती आबाद रूप से जारी है प्रमोशन की। अब हम प्रमोशन से 2 मिनट 27 सेकंड की दूरी पर हैं। सभी तंत्रों की आंतरिक जांच की जा रही है।
T minus 2 minutes.
तथा पायरो सर्किट को आर्म मोड में किया जा रहा है.
It's a bright sunny day here at Sriharikota today. All set for the PSLV C-59 Proba-3 mission. We are 1 minute 40 seconds from the launch time. The Proba-3 spacecraft is developed by European Space Agency, and the launch is contracted through New Space India Limited, NSIL, ISRO's commercial arm.
ऑटोमेटिक लॉन्च सीक्वेंस जारी है.
All stations stand by for the time mark. T minus 1 minute.
अब हम ठीक 1 मिनट दूरी पर
Minus 55
प्रमोचन
seconds.
से सभी गतिविधियां आबाद रूप से जारी.
Minus 50 seconds.
सेकंड्स पर रिएक्शन कंट्रोल थ्रस्टर को प्रज्वलित किया
Minus
जाएगा.
45 seconds.
फिर T0 पर कोर बूस्टर प्रज्वलित होगा.
Minus 40 seconds. Minus 35 seconds. Minus 30 seconds.
Real-time programs activated.
Minus 25 seconds. Minus 20 seconds. Minus 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Liftoff normal.
Majestic liftoff of the PSLV C-59 Proba-3 mission from the Satish Dhawan Space Center.
यहाँ PSLV C-59 प्रमोचन यान का सफलतापूर्ण उत्थापन. रेंज ऑपरेशन डायरेक्टर ने भी इसकी पुष्टि कर दी है. यह पूरी तरह सामान्य उत्थापन है.
The launcher has left the Earth right on time, and it's in the ascent phase to bring Proba-3 to its injection orbit. There's been moments of joy here in SX control room, but of course this is just the first step. What it comes now is going to be what is exciting for the teams in Redu. Let's keep silent for a couple of minutes until we get the spacecraft reaching its injection orbit.
चरण यान को दिष्ट दिशा की ओर ले जाता हुआ.
First stage performance normal.
We are 58 seconds into the launch. Burning together the first stage, core motor and the strap ons together generate about 9,000 kilonewton thrust.
इस क्रम में अब हम आगे देखेंगे ग्राउंड लेड स्ट्रैप-ऑन का पृथक्कन. तत्पश्चात एयर लेड स्ट्रैप-ऑन को पृथक किया जाएगा और अंत में प्रथम चरण के कार्यकाल के पश्चात उसे भी यान से पृथक किया जाएगा.
The Shard telemetry and tracking station presently acquiring the trajectory data. There is a confirmation about the strap-on separation.
Second stage engine started. Closed loop guidance initiated.
प्रथम चरण को यान से सफलतापूर्वक पृथक कर दिया गया है और द्वितीय चरण का प्रज्वलन शुरू हो चुका है.
Confirmation has been given by the Range Operations Director. The second stage of PSLV has begun its operation. The closed loop guidance having been initiated, hereafter the trajectory steers implementing necessary corrections to achieve the final insertion point of the spacecraft.
यहाँ आप ग्राफ में देख सकते हैं यान पूरी तरह अपेक्षित पथ का अनुकरण करता हुआ जा रहा है. सभी तंत्र सामान्य रूप से कार्य करते हुए.
The pump-fed Vikas engine operating on hypergolic propellant combination of UH25 and N2O4, generating close to 800 kilonewtons thrust.
So far, the trajectory of the launcher is fully nominal. We are getting the parameters from our colleagues on the Indian Space Agency. The trajectory is fully nominal. The launch vehicle is behaving fully nominally. So we have still a couple of minutes to get the spacecraft separated. Let's enjoy the ride.
घने वातावरण से बाहर जा चुका है, इसलिए अब ऊष्मा कवच की कोई आवश्यकता नहीं है, इसलिए यान से पृथक किया जा चुका है.
With the payload fairing separation, the rocket has left behind some more unnecessary mass. Dense atmosphere is crossed now. No more requirement to shield the spacecraft or the aerodynamic shape. Char and Port Blair stations currently tracking.
सभी गतिविधियां पूर्व निर्धारित तरीके से जारी हैं. अब हम प्रमोशन से 230 सेकंड की दूरी पर आ चुके हैं. इस समय ऊंचाई 147 किलोमीटर तथा सापेक्ष गति 4.2 किलोमीटर प्रति सेकंड.
152 kilometers altitude. We are 247 seconds into the launch. PS2 still operating.
द्वितीय चरण के दौरान यान क्लोज लूप गाइडेंस के अंतर्गत होता है, यानी वह अपना दिशा निर्धारण स्वतः ही कर रहा है.
Second stage separated, third stage ignited.
और यहाँ द्वितीय चरण अपना कार्यकाल सफलतापूर्वक समाप्त कर यान से पृथक किया जा चुका है तथा तृतीय चरण जो कि ठोस नोदक पर आधारित चरण है, उसका प्रज्वलन शुरू हो चुका है.
Third stage performance normal.
तृतीय चरण का निष्पादन पूरी तरह सामान्य.
So we have confirmation that the spacecraft has separated for the launch vehicle. We are getting closer and closer to starting Proba-3 mission.
Third stage of PSLV, called HPS-3. Ignition is confirmed and healthy operation also is confirmed by the Range Operations Director. The stage operates on hydroxyl terminated polybutadiene based solid propellant. 7.6 tons of propellant loading, 239.6 kilonewtons vacuum thrust.
यूरोपियन स्पेस एजेंसी से आए हुए गणमान्य व्यक्ति यहाँ उपस्थित
Third stage performance normal.
प्रमोशन मिशन के साक्षी बन रहे हैं. तृतीय चरण का कार्यकाल लगभग 120 सेकंड का होगा. तत्पश्चात कोस्ट फेज प्रारंभ होगा.
PS3, the operation time is 120 seconds. As we informed you earlier, significant increase in relative velocity takes place during the PS3 thrust regime.
यह उड़ान दक्षिण पूर्वी दिशा की है. इस दौरान पोर्ट ब्लेयर स्थित रडार स्टेशन वर्तमान में इसे ट्रैक कर रहे हैं और हम तक सभी आंकड़े उपलब्ध करा रहे हैं. तृतीय चरण का कार्यकाल समाप्त हो चुका है और कोस्ट फेज प्रारंभ हो चुका है. यह लगभग 116 सेकंड का होगा. इस दौरान यान प्राप्त संवेग से लगभग 100 किलोमीटर प्राप्त करेगा.
Now the PSLV is under coasting phase. The third stage has completed its operation. Presently there is no thrust being developed. However, the vehicle continues to be steered.
यान पूरी तरह अपेक्षित पथ का अनुकरण करते हुए, इसे हम टेक्स्ट बुक लॉन्च भी कहते हैं.
Performance normal.
PS3 separation is scheduled at 489.2 seconds into flight. We are 450 seconds into the launch.
प्रोबा-3 उपग्रह अपनी कड़ी में चौथा अध्याय जोड़ने जा रहा है. इससे पहले प्रोबा-1 को 2001 में पृथ्वी के प्रेक्षण उपग्रह के रूप में प्रमोचित किया गया था, जो कि 20 साल से अपनी सुविधाएं प्रदान कर रहा है। उसके बाद प्रोबा-2 का प्रक्षेपण 2009 में सूर्य के प्रेक्षण करने के लिए किया गया। तत्पश्चात प्रोबा-V
Third stage separated.
अभी रेंज ऑपरेशन डायरेक्टर ने पुष्टि की कि तृतीय चरण को भी यान से पृथक कर दिया गया है। अब इसके 10 सेकंड के पश्चात
Fourth stage engine started.
जी हाँ, चतुर्थ चरण का प्रज्वलन भी शुरू हो चुका है।
The fourth stage has commenced its operation. It's the uppermost stage. Twin pressure-fed engines operating on Earth-storable propellant combination of monomethyl hydrazine and mixed oxides of nitrogen.
दर्शकों, आपने गणतंत्र दिवस की परेड तो देखी ही होगी और उसमें फाइटर जेट एरोप्लेन के विभिन्न गठन उड़ाने, जिसे हम फॉर्मेशन फ्लाइंग कहते हैं, कितना आश्चर्य और रोमहर्षित करने वाला होता है। कितनी सटीकता और एकाग्रता की आवश्यकता होती है। बिल्कुल वही दृश्य आज हम अंतरिक्ष में पृथ्वी की कक्षा में देखने जा रहे हैं। यूरोपियन स्पेस एजेंसी द्वारा तैयार किया गया प्रोबा-3 एक अनूठा मिशन है, जो यह फॉर्मेशन की तकनीकी तथा तकनीक दोनों का प्रदर्शन करने जा रहा है। इस मिशन में 2 उपग्रह हैं, जो प्रमोचन यान से पृथक होने के पश्चात आपस में एक निश्चित दूरी बनाए रखते हुए 600 बाई 60,530 किलोमीटर की दीर्घवृत्ताकार कक्षा में पृथ्वी की परिक्रमा करेंगे। यह पहली बार है जब एक ऑकल्टर और एक कोरोनाग्राफ उपग्रह फॉर्मेशन बनाने जा रहे हैं। यह आगे आने वाले बहु उपग्रह मिशनों में गठन उड़ान का मार्गदर्शन भी कर सकता है। इस फॉर्मेशन में दोनों उपग्रहों के बीच लगभग 144 मीटर की दूरी होगी और इसे मिलीमीटर की सटीकता के साथ 6 घंटे तक के लिए उस फॉर्मेशन में बनाए रखा जा सकता है। इसमें आश्चर्य की बात यह है कि यह फॉर्मेशन ये उपग्रह आपस में सामंजस्य बनाते हुए ऑन बोर्ड कंप्यूटर की मदद से करने वाले हैं, यानी बिना किसी ग्राउंड सपोर्ट की मदद लिए। इस मिशन में अंतरिक्ष स्थिति जागरूकता के तहत आपस में टकराव से बचाने के लिए कार्यवाही निर्मित की गई है। इससे अंतरिक्ष मलबा का खतरा कम होता है।
स्टेज परफॉर्मेंस नॉर्मल।
प्रोबा-3 मिशन में कुल 3 उद्देश्य हैं। कोरोनाग्राफ उपग्रह से किसी भी समय सूर्य की आंतरिक वातावरण का साफ चित्र प्रदान करना, जो कि अब तक सिर्फ सूर्य ग्रहण के समय वैज्ञानिकों का अध्ययन करने के लिए मिल पाता था। इस कार्य के लिए ऑकल्टर उपग्रह में 1.4 मीटर का ऑकल्टर डिस्क लगा हुआ है, जो कि एक अपारदर्शी डिस्क है, जो एक गठन में सूर्य को ढक लेगा और तब कोरोनाग्राफ सूर्य के कोरोना का सटीक चित्रण ले सकेगा। दूसरा उद्देश्य है इसमें डिजिटल।
So far, the trajectory of the launch vehicle is perfect. Everything is going fully nominal. We are expecting our spacecraft to be separated and full invisibility of our antennas in a couple of minutes. Teams are really, tension is going high, is increasing. People is very concentrated, looking at their screens and preparing for the first pass of Proba-3.
जानकारी के लिए उद्देश्य से बनाया गया है। इस तरह प्रोबा-3 अपने 2 साल के अभिकल्पित जीवन काल में निरंतर चित्र अधिग्रहण, कक्षा में मेल, सटीकता, निकटता संचालन, गठन संचालन, कोरोनाग्राफ अवलोकन का प्रदर्शन करने जा रहा है।
+12 minutes.
Long burn time of 516 seconds or 8.5 minutes for the PS4 stage for the PSLV C-59 Proba-3 mission. We are 732 seconds into the flight. The Yataraga station has to receive the data. So far, Shar and Port Blair stations were receiving it. Of the many intriguing mysteries of the space and celestial bodies that scientists study and uncover, the study of sun is an important one. The space weather, influenced by the solar wind and coronal mass ejections, takes birth in the corona of the sun. While there are instruments and methods to observe the low corona nearer to Sun and high corona that are farther away, the region between the two, a gap, is observable during terrestrial solar eclipses only. 10 minutes of duration for every solar eclipse and such 60 eclipses in a century is all the time the scientists on Earth are left with to study the gap corona of the Sun. Proba-3 mission by ESA addresses this limitation. The Occulter spacecraft will cast a shadow on the Coronagraph spacecraft for 6 hours near the orbital apogee of 60,530 kilometers using its 1.4 meter diameter disk.
Plus 14 minutes.
At such a far distance from Earth, the influence of gravity is less, making it easier to maintain the attitude of the spacecraft at 150 meter separation between them to a few millimeter and arc seconds.
Fourth stage performance normal.
We have the confirmation of the healthy operation of the fourth stage of PSLV. The Yataraga station has started to acquire data and currently providing us the trajectory information. Compared to relying on natural solar eclipses, Proba-3 will provide 100 times increase in the observation time for scientific study.
Hot now. We are very close to get our first AOS with Proba-3.
The acronym Proba indicates Project for Onboard Autonomy. The formation flying experiments will be performed autonomously on board without relying on guidance from ground.
Plus 15 minutes.
Speaking of the technicalities of Proba-3, the Occulter spacecraft features a 1.4 meter occulting disk which will be kept perpendicular to the direction of the Sun's light. This disk will cast a shadow without relying on the Coronagraph spacecraft. Speaking of the technicalities of Proba-3, the Occulter spacecraft features a 1.4 meter occulting disk which will be kept perpendicular to the direction of the Sun's light.
Disturbance also there was a cable? Yeah, this is an SLE.
Yes, it's an SLE. Because that's normally when you do an offshore you get this. Are they all at the same time?
27, 27, 10, 27, 27.
Okay, I'll just ask John if Yataraga sent something.
So it's 10 seconds later than OSC.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. You want to step back top now? Have it here. You put it on the installation. Thanks.
So we have strong signal on the PSLV from Yataraga and the CSP routing. Very good news, thank you.
All positions in DOT, the Yataraga intelligence reports that the rocket is perfectly on the spot.
Tension is going up now. Teams are looking at the screens, waiting for the first signal from Proba-3. Let's wait a couple of seconds or minutes in silence, just looking at what the teams are doing, and hopefully we'll be back in a couple of minutes with the spacecraft telemetry on our consoles.
Yeah, so on every single one we have received SLE, received SLE end of data notifications. So it was at 10:27 for all four. Well, there was 10 seconds difference. Okay. So it's about 30 minutes ago. first sent.
That's on TM side, is it?
Yeah, all 4 TM links have that. So review.
Separation.
Okay.
Separation. All positions. India reported successful separation. Copy.
We just got confirmation from the launch authorities that the spacecraft has separated from the launcher. We should be getting the spacecraft in some minutes now.
All positions, please stay calm. If you don't talk, if it's not needed, just talk about the mission and when you see something important.
We just got confirmation from the launch authorities that the spacecraft has separated from the launcher. We should be getting the spacecraft in some minutes now.
Expected US, 10 seconds.
Proba-1 from SSC, we are in office.
Yes.
You have heard the joy of the teams. We've got EOS, we have telemetry from Proba-3. We have a mission, years of preparation culminating today, and a new journey starts with the preparations of the mission.
Only that. Only that. Only that.
We have a mission, years of preparation culminating today, and the journey starts with the preparations of the mission.
Doing us on the plus Y axis. Plus and plus. Yes.
Uplink, no plugs yet.
What do we do? Do we have uplink?
No. Yeah, now we have. Uplink locked
No,
on
no,
the
no,
CSC.
no.
Locked on the CSC, you can try it.
It's not reported yet.
We're seeing uplink,
We're seeing uplink.
We're seeing locked receivers.
Proba-1 from SSC.
Both of them now.
Sherry is up, please complete. Sorry.
Go ahead,
And your
Go ahead.
code for commanding.
And availability for the production branch.
And availability for the production branch.
3, 2, 1, launched.
SSC Proba-1.
And wait, not send anything else.
Okay.
Prevention attack is unavailable. Let's wait for the safe mode to be automatically restarted.
Can you confirm you started doctor of chain?
We have zero current incoming from the sun almost on CSC, but some current on the OSC. So we're probably pointing.
Sign is pointing to the plus Y
Recording
So, after the excitement of the first telemetry of the satellite, actually from both, we have received telemetry from both satellites flying on stack. Now the teams are concentrating in looking at the parameters of both, the healthy, the status, thermal power, and enabling communications for the first commanding activities. Now they are taking care of the baby after the perfect launch from the Indian colleagues. The ascent phase was to the second, and the injection, as it seems, has been pretty accurate. Our colleagues of flight dynamics will be checking this in a minute, but we can say we have a mission. The flight control team are now very busy, as you can see in the images, concentrated in understanding the status of the spacecraft after this long ride. We can say we have
Redundant propulsion branch on.
Copy, coming over.
Report, sorry. Branch is still standby. Confirm. Entering.
That was propulsion board.
Confirmation for the standby activated.
Copy, coming over.
standby propulsion reached.
Yes.
Entering on state under propulsion.
SAM 1B start. We have TM in mast.
It's normal. We need only a normal. Italian is okay. It's the top.
Hearty congratulations to Team ISRO for giving our customer from European Space Agency one of the launch I've ever expected. And let me tell you, this is the first time PSLV has gone into orbit. I have seen
We see Spacecraft, which is not doing it here.
Occulter is minus 50.
The Occulter will also switch to the same antenna as the Coronagraph. I'm sure very similar.
ISM fire seems too hot. I don't know if it's a problem. ISM fire.
Do you have any UV to report? Or to report?
Yeah, okay.
We can do ISM fire temperature. ISM fire temperature.
Copy. I'm sorry, can you please repeat?
2 seconds early.
2 seconds early, copy that. Please report. They're indicating there's no temperature reading in that area. What is the reason that you're asking?
We have a which is called
transmitter 1 now on the OSC.
Increase in the FSAS currents.
OSC has sun again on the solar panel, 2 hours.
We have estimation.
I only repeated the time you gave me. 111012 for character.
we see conversion.
Copy.
Between 24 and
current on the solar panels increasing.
Remember that those two failures in health actions have been completed.
Onboard software initialization failure in
That's why you see the time study extended to the first one.
context restored failure.
This is stored.
Yeah, but down failed.
This is not stored. So it's the context restore that failed, causing the initialization failure.
We have the results of the actions.
Send was
Yeah, but the context restore will be filled with
When you
the
send by email only? Yes. OSC, do you have also failures on the objects?
you're checking now. You were
Are they available or not?
Yes, 21 errors.
initialization failure.
Okay, fine. Your board? It was health checks are emailed. We are checking again on too high.
no, it's very, very low. 0.02 instead of 0.3.
But it should actually be you have a look at the health checks. It's in the health check of the OSC. Because normally it's on the heater. Normally it's on the heater. So yeah, but I don't know whether the heater, if it's on the thermostat, no?
Not the start of not the RAM. The RAM, yes, but we will probably be
So after long minutes of excitement to get the spacecraft under control, we have been now able to check the status of both satellites in their stack. Temperatures are great, the injection was almost perfect, and the satellites are already acquiring the sun. This is a very important phase in order to be able to start the activities to be power positive. The timeline is going to be now followed as prepared and tested and validated by the teams during the rehearsal campaigns that took place in the last months. Now, of course, the spacecraft needs to behave as per simulations campaign, and we hopefully don't get surprises. All the teams are now concentrating into ensuring the temperatures do not go below the qualification levels, not too hot, not too cold, and to ensure that the navigation parameters, so those that tell us the stability of the pointing of the satellite, are according to the specifications. There are a couple of commanding activities that need to be performed in the next passes, but basically now we're in a phase where the flight control and the mission control and industry and project support are going to be following the timeline they have been preparing in the last 2-3 weeks. At this point in time, we are going to leave the teams to work and put the mission in their phase to be able to start delivering astonishing science in the next months. From my side, I will just say you goodbye and Godspeed, Proba-3. We're going to use to work and put the mission in the phase to start delivering.
And follow steps. 3 minutes. Update the RAM.
Déploiement, c'est les deuxièmes.
let's keep an eye on those.
It could be due to store dumps, no?
There's one thruster which is at 36 degrees. The rest seem okay.
Yes, but it can...
What do you want?
No? Thruster.
Because one of the two was very bad, had a much better view than the other, which is the 3DV experience combined with the two receivers.
What do you want? 2 minutes to carry it out.
That's pretty combined. That's
There's 2 minutes. How we have the yes. Okay. Propulsion bed having center redundant. Yeah, but the fault availability is updated on the right? Yes. Okay. For the time being, no. For the time being, no, because we are having proper finalizing we don't look at it anymore. We keep it like it is.
We go for the react time. Yes. Watch the last because you only have 1 minute left. Are we doing this? Here we have sending commands because it's fun. Also the lock. We have OC and CSC, perfect lock.
Can you confirm
But why do I have this?
Affirmative and carrier will be the out one.
But see,
Yeah, copy that.
F-lock and bitlock and OCs mark as not lock. Of course. We don't not put it in the job.
So you can see these are
All positions, expected loss of signal in 30 seconds.
Still have a look. Which we are already beyond LOS. Theory.
Okay, all positions, we have loss of signal on CSC and we have loss of signal on OC.
Now that's maybe delayed.
We carry it out. Confirm we still have both of the dumps.
Okay guys, I would like to have a quick status briefing with the system engineers in the small meeting room next to the support room. Please bring whatever we need to bring. Well done guys. Keep an eye on phase 5, but also on the phase 1 and 2 because they start in parallel. Gary, can you check? Is it going to stop? What? Is that it skipped? Is it easy to skip phase 5?
Yes. Can you check phase 5?
I have it here.
I have a button. All the way at the bottom. It's phase 5. Yeah, that one. That's it's not easy with the phase. Good.
Can I give you this?
Yeah.
They have to speak close. Disconnected.
Look. I'm sorry, say again, please.
And we have LOS.
Copy LOS, and what was your previous message?
They have to speak close.
So, what's the SS?
I believe.
Ah, so we are both.
Affirmative.